Ladies and gentlemen, join me to welcome Mr. Jagadish Pampapati.
Hi, everyone. Let us start the technical session. This is actually Manage Regulatory Requirements Medical Device Software. Okay, so we will start with the medical device regulation for key changes and what exactly they impacted for the manufacturers as well as regulators. And later we will just see qualification of the software as per MDR requirements. As we all know, medical device regulation is basically 2017-745 has been released and replaced with medical device directive as well as active implantable medical device directive. So two directives have been replaced with single regulation. Similarly, for in vitro diagnostic medical device, earlier 9879 EC has been again replaced with 2017746. You might be knowing what exactly the changes has come in this new regulation, right? Yeah. So what we will do, I will just walk you through the key changes of these new regulations and the requirements. The major theme adopted in this medical device regulation is life cycle approach. As we all know, life cycle approach means FDA is already incorporated this kind of approach. Like example, a kind of design planning, okay, design change, design verification, design validation, like that. So even MDR now they brought this new concept and they implemented in this regulatory requirements. Let us have a key changes. What exactly has been impacted to regulators as well as manufacturers? The most important thing, product scope has been expanded, and of course, post-market oversight is also has been changed drastically. And if you see class 2A and class 2B medical devices, there is a new requirement of clinical investigation, clinical requirements. Similarly, there is a new specification has been released that is called common specification. It is a part of general safety performance requirements. And if you see another important thing, no godfathering provision. That means like all the equipments, whatever as already approved by medical device directive, now we need to comply with MDR. That is the update actually. So let us see the basic definition of a medical device as per MDR. If you see Article 2.1, medical device definition has been explained very clearly in the regulation. So generally we know even from FDA, even from IEC 62304 or even ISO 13485, medical device has been explained very well. Here also you can see medical device means any instrument, apparatus, appliance, software, and of course he has explained all the other elements which has been captured. So you might be wondering what extra or what change has been come into this regulation, right? So if you see here, I just highlighted for the benefit, prediction and prognosis is the new terminology has been used in the regulation. Similarly, if you see the disability, okay, so this is also one of the new element incorporated in the regulation. Similarly, if you see intended for the cleaning, disinfection, or sterilization of devices has been now in the scope of medical device. So of course, software shall also be deemed to be an active medical device. If we understood this definition, then other things are automatically we will be capturing the detailed requirements. There is no issue in my experience. Okay. So let us now begin with our core element called medical device software qualification. So many regulators will have their own guidance document to qualify the software. As we all know, like FDA is also releasing off-the-shelf software guideline, and European Union is also released like MDCG 2019-11. This is basically giving a guidance to a manufacturer how to qualify the software. What are all the requirements we need to check before we tell this software is a medical or not a medical device. Okay. So if you see the definition in this guidance document, medical device software is a software that is intended to be used alone or in a combination for a purpose of specified in the definition of a medical device. Again, whatever the definition we saw in our previous slide, we need to check. Okay. So another important thing, software is an independent or driving or influencing the use of device. This is the new element in this guideline he brought, and this is actually helping manufacturer to declare his software whether it is a medical or not a medical device. Okay, let us see a good flow chart here. You can see here there are 5 stages to qualify this software. Stage 1, if you see here, is my product a software according to your definition, whatever we saw just now in our slide, right? So if it is yes, then it will go to stage 2. Stage 2 actually having a few questions for us, like example, whether software is an accessory to a medical device. If it is yes, then automatically we can tell it is covered under medical device regulation. If it is no, then it will go to stage 3 and we need to check again whether my software performing an action on data different from storage, archival, or communication. If it is yes, then again it will go to stage 4. Stage 4 is a very, very important aspect because there it is asking about whether the software, the action, the outcome action is benefit to a individual patients. If it is yes, then it will go to stage 5, and again it will ask us to check the definition, whatever we saw in our previous slide. Again, I will go to the definition now so that we will be very clear. Here you can see here, if the software drives or influence a medical device, also has a medical purpose, then it is qualified as a medical device software. Same element, he brought it here actually. Okay. So if it is yes, then it is covered under medical device regulation. So these 5 steps or 5 stages is very, very essential whenever we want to know my software is a medical or not a medical device. The details has been given in MDCG document. So I have provided the link also. So anytime you can download and check the software guideline. Let us see one example. Okay, if the software displaying only the medical imaging data, okay, if it is only displaying, or if it is only processing like only a transfer, store, or convert formats, then we can tell it is not a medical device. But however, if this software is being used for the diagnostic review purpose, you can see here the word, then this will call as a medical device software. So the interpretation is as per our medical device guideline, whatever we just saw these 5 steps. Okay. Yeah. Let us see another example just to again get a clarity on this. Software intended to provide access electronic copies of medical textbooks or other reference materials with generic text or search capabilities. Okay. Can we call it as a medical device? No, because it is only doing a search, or it is only actually implementing a copy of the textbooks of the medical, right? So it is not a medical device software. The intended use is not being used for the diagnosis or for treatment for the purpose for the patient, right? So this will not be called as a medical device software. Yeah, we will see another terminology, software as a medical device, right? So this is a very good concept because recently FDA actually taken this guideline document also, and they have released as it is taken from IMDRF. You might be wondering, what is this IMDRF? IMDRF is an International Medical Device Regulators Forum. Earlier, you might be knowing GHTF, Global Harmonization Task Force. The members were actually from US, Europe, Canada, Australia, I think Japan also. But later, few more countries have been included in this forum, and they wanted to discuss and see how we can harmonize the guidelines and how we can bring the new documents into each and every country so that only country specific delta things can be added to a respective region or respective country regulation requirements. That is the intention. Okay. So what is the definition of SAMD? If you see here, software intended to be used for one or more medical purposes that perform these purposes without being a part of hardware. This is the key element in SAMD. Okay. So if you see here, many industry practices, if you can hear, I think standalone software, people will term as a standalone software, or sometime medical device softwares, or sometime health software. So all terminology actually explained very clearly as part of this SAMD guidance document. Okay. So basically, SAMD has been classified into 4 categories. These 4 categories has been done based on the risk. Okay. So if I see, okay, software provides the information for the treatment or diagnosis of disease. If it is a critical, then it is called very high impact. Okay. If it is only serious, then the terminology has been used high impact and category 3. Similarly, category 2 will be having a moderate impact. Category 1 is a low impact. So that way, software as a medical device guideline will help us to define category of the software based on the risk. Let us again see some more examples on SAMD. Okay. So one example here you can see the software used to view and enhance the images from MRI on your phone would be software as a medical device. However, if software enables an MRI machine to run its test, then we can't term as a SAMD. Okay. Similarly, another example, if the smartphone to view images from an MRI and also the software, CAT software, to provide image post-processing to detect breast cancer, then it can be qualified as a SAMD. Okay. Similarly, now we can see a very, very interesting topic called mobile medical device, because many times we have seen medical apps, even in Google Play Store, you can download various apps, right? So we will just discuss about that, and also a wellness software. This is another important thing. And we will also see what is the borderline manual qualification. What is meant by mobile platform? Mobile platforms are defined as commercial off-the-shelf computing platforms. This is the definition as given by FDA actually. Okay, whether it is a without or with connectivity that are handled in nature. Okay, so examples of this mobile platform, as we all know, mobile computers, smartphones, tablet computers, and other portable computers. Similarly, what is meant by mobile application? Mobile application or an app defined as a software application that can be executed, like it can run on a mobile platform, right? Or even web-based software application that is tailored to a mobile platform but executed in a server. So both scenarios actually. So then the question will come, what is mobile medical application? So we saw now mobile application, mobile platform. What is mobile medical application? The thing here you can see here, if the software or app incorporates functionality that meets the definition of the device, whatever we saw in the first slide. That is why I mentioned that is very, very important for any technology or any like mobile apps or software as a medical device or a health software. So if we are very clear on device definition, then we will be very clear from the qualification or classification point of view. Okay, FDA has released this guideline document on mobile app. It is giving a very clear requirements. How can we submit mobile medical app to as a 510K if it is qualified as a medical device? So those details actually captured in the software application mobile medical device guideline. So let us hear on some more details on borderline manual. So this is very, very interesting. If manufacturer having an ambiguity, okay, I'm just thinking it is in a borderline whether my device is a medical or non-medical, right? So this helps actually. This manual, which has been released by EU as well as MHRA. MHRA is from UK. Okay. So both actually periodically they will update this manual. They give scenarios and examples. If you see here in this manual, there is a separate section for even for software examples also. Okay. Let us see one example how this borderline manual gives clarity to a manufacturer. Software that is simply a patient management system or a records storage system would not be considered as a medical device. Yeah. If software intended to enhance the image or processing the images from X-ray or ultrasound, then it can be considered as a medical device. Okay. And many people you might be knowing breast pumps. Sometimes each country has their own requirements. Like Europe, people actually classifying, no, this is not a medical device. But US, this is a medical device. So for that purpose, again, this manual actually bringing the clarity. Yes, even Europe also or UK also, they will consider breast pumps medical device for if the claim given by the manufacturer, if it is being used for the treatment of the inverted nipples as an example, right? So if it is claim is like this, then we can very well tell this is qualified as a medical device. Another example, this is an app again, okay, medical application for viewing anatomy of the human body. Okay, not only anatomy, even positioning and medical imaging, all the information are there here, you can see. Okay, the outcome manual again clarifies this. Okay, since all the information are there, even it is not only searching the data, even it is giving positioning and medical imaging, but however, it is not being used directly for the medical benefit of the individual patients. Thus, this app or this software cannot be qualified as medical device. Like that, if you see very clearly, he has given detailed description wherever manufacturer is having an ambiguity. Yeah, I just brought this one good example because we know now the pandemic situation. Many people, healthcare industry, especially CROs or clinical research organizations or hospitals, all people we are, including public, we are using this PPE, right? So let us see an interesting thing. PPE, whether it is called as a medical device or not, right? So if we see PPE is having a separate directive as in EU, okay, 2016/425 is a directive for personal protective equipment. Okay, if we are manufacturing any of these, that needs to be qualified with respect to PPE directive as defined by EU. If we are again want to get a CE mark, right? So similarly in India also we have BIS, ISI mark. So same way, okay. Like example, if masks are intended for the protection of the user, then it will be covered under this directive. However, if surgical mask used for operating theater or other medical procedure, then this medical device, it is considered as a medical device. So that way manual clarifies. Okay. So it is a very, very interesting. You can later, I have provided the link. You can later download and check these manuals. Yeah. Let us just walk through about low risk general wellness product. Okay. So if the software claims intended use relates to a maintaining or encouraging healthy lifestyle or with reference to disease or condition, then we can call a low risk wellness software devices. In this, no, there is a product will not be an invasive, product is not an implanted, or it does not pose any risk. Let us see one example. The software in this example actually used for weight management, physical fitness purpose. But however, later, if manufacturer claims that if it is being used for medical purpose, then this software called as medical device software. So you can see here lifestyle app. So earlier it was a fitness or general health wellness purpose, now becoming medical device software. Okay. Yeah. Let us see an important topic, FDA's approach on digital health. Okay. So you might be hearing many papers, basically, from FDA with respect to a digital health center of excellence. The main aim of digital health center of excellence is to ensure or empower digital health stakeholders to advance healthcare. Okay. Here, there are three principles are there. One is connect and share and innovate. Okay. So with these three principles, FDA wants to come out a detailed level of policies, procedures for the manufacturers and the other regulators to take the help from this center of excellence. FDA is understanding from digital health point of view. There are 5 segments. You can see here: healthy living, prevention, diagnosis, treatment, recovery, home care. So ultimately, if leveraging the sensors or connecting devices, connectivity devices, and the software, we can bring anything like from the healthy living, prevention, or diagnosis, whatever we are doing from healthcare hospitals or healthcare divisions, so we can bring into home care atmosphere. That is the intention. So that will help even for the patients or end user to monitor and to help to give a better treatment. The following topics FDA in the digital world is working, and they are actually keen on giving more guidances or more regulatory elements. Example, you might be seeing already, I explained software as a medical device, and the new topic is everybody knows and interested AI and machine learning. So FDA has released last year a guidance document as a draft guidance document, as well as this year a detailed plan how to roll out artificial intelligence and machine learning if the software having a kind of algorithm for a medical device or medical device software. Similarly, FDA is focused to work on medical device cybersecurity, as well as digital pathology and advanced manufacturing and wireless connectivity. Okay. Even another important thing, interoperability. That is again, FDA is focused and working on this to get the more regulatory documents and guidance documents to roll out to manufacturers. The roadmap, they are told very clearly: communication, coordinate, and amplify. So basically, raise awareness. This they have done already, and build partnership like with the industry people and other forums, like who is really giving a value addition and great inputs to FDA to come out with the implement regulatory framework in this digital world. Okay, so that helps actually harmonization with the regulators also, with the different countries' regulatory requirements. So I have just listed a single document just to have a benefit for everyone. All software standards, especially I highlighted with respect to medical device standards. You can see here health software, again the validation of software, regulated process. So later I think we can just go through these standards requirements. Okay, I have just provided the references also. Yeah, let us, I will give you a snapshot of Philips strategy. As we all know, Philips is also having a similar strategy like FDA, healthy living, prevention, diagnosis, and home care, right? So Philips is working different product groups, as we all know. So we are working in CT, computer tomography, fluoroscopy, and magnetic resonance, mother and child care, as well as digital pathology, even oncology, portfolio segments, and radiography. So different groups Philips is working and providing solutions to a healthcare providers.